Welcome to another episode of NCSA Learn. Now, NCSA stands for the National Cybersecurity Agency of the Maldives. Today, we're going to talk about something that follows you everywhere, but you can't see it. It's your digital shadow. And we're not just talking about what you post online, we're talking about the massive, invisible trail of data you leave behind every single second. But here's the good news. We're going to show you exactly how to step out of that shadow and take back control. Okay, so let's just dive right in with a question. I want you to really think about this for a second. What does your phone actually know about you? I mean, yeah, the obvious stuff comes to mind, right? Your contacts, your photos. But believe me, that is barely scratching the surface. It's not just about what Facebook knows, and we all know that's a lot. Apps like TikTok, well, they take this to a whole different level, collecting literally thousands of data points about you. Your phone knows even things you have never, ever consciously shared. Think about it. Through thousands of tiny little data points, every tap, every swipe, your location, even how fast you type, these platforms are building a profile of you that is so unbelievably detailed. It can figure out your habits, your relationships, your politics. It can even predict what you're gonna do next. And that profile, that's your digital shadow. This is the key to understanding how the modern internet really works. See, you're not the customer. You are the product that's being sold. And this shadow, it just gets more and more detailed with every single thing you do online. So let's break down the huge difference between what you think you're sharing and what's actually being snatched up. Now, just look at this slide. The contrast is just wild. On the left, that's your highlight reel, right? The stuff you choose to show the world. But on the right, that's the real you, at least according to the data brokers. They are quietly sucking up your location 24/7. They're copying your entire contacts list. They're logging your calls and your messages. And this part is just chilling. They're even recording what you type and then decide to delete. Your private, fleeting thoughts are becoming permanent data points. To put this into perspective, just look at this number for a second. 14,000. That's how many times some popular apps have been caught logging a single user's location in one day. This isn't just about checking the weather for you. This is about building a minute-by-minute blueprint of your entire life. And this slide right here shows you exactly what that blueprint looks like. It's not just a map, it's a diary of your life, written completely without your permission. It shows where you sleep, where you work, who you meet up with. It can expose really, really personal things, like a visit to a mental health clinic or a lawyer's office or a support group. All of your most private routines just become another product to be packaged up and sold. But collecting all this data is just step one. The real power, and honestly the real danger, is in how they analyze it. So let's look at how all this raw information gets turned into a profile so accurate, it's actually kind of frightening. Now, I know this sounds like a crazy exaggeration, but it's a documented fact. There's this famous case where the store Target started sending a teenage girl coupons for cribs and baby clothes. Her dad was furious. He stormed into the store and complained, only to find out later that Target's algorithm had correctly analyzed her shopping habits and figured out she was pregnant before she'd even told her own parents. And this research from Cambridge University, it is just staggering. All an algorithm needs to see is just 10 of your Facebook likes to understand your personality better than a coworker. Give it 70 likes, and boom, it knows you better than a good friend. At 150, it knows you better than your own family. And with just 300 likes, the machine knows you more intimately than your own husband or wife. Just think about that. So, we've seen how all this data gets collected and analyzed for things like targeted ads. But the marketplace for buying and selling your personal data is massive, and it's mostly unregulated. So what happens when this incredibly intimate knowledge of your life is weaponized? This is where the threat becomes very, very real. I really want you to think about this quote from Edward Snowden for a moment. That whole "I have nothing to hide" argument, it completely misses the point. Privacy isn't about hiding bad things. It's about having the basic freedom to control your own life, to control your own story. When you lose that control, you don't just become transparent, you become vulnerable. And here is exactly how that vulnerability gets exploited. Before the next scammer tries to hit you, you need to understand their playbook. First, they harvest your public info. Then they analyze it for hooks, your kids' names, the school they go to, a recent complaint you posted, the fact that you're on vacation. Then they attack, using details from your own life to create a super believable personalized scam that you are way more likely to fall for. And the danger isn't just from criminals. This data is used to create a sort of secret score about you. And based on where you live, what you buy, who you know, you can be silently denied a loan, charged more for insurance, or even filtered out of a job application process, all without you ever knowing why. It's basically discrimination by algorithm. Now, if we as adults are this vulnerable, we have to talk about the biggest risk of all, the one to our children. Their digital footprint is being built for them before they can even talk, creating permanent dangers that they never, ever consented to. This brings us to this term, Sharenton. Look, it almost always comes from a place of pure love and pride. Of course it does. But what it means in practice is broadcasting a child's entire personal life online. Their full name, their birthday, their school, their daily routines, creating this detailed, permanent file on them for the whole world to see. And what do the kids themselves think about this? Well, one study found that over half of teenagers feel anxious and uncomfortable about how much their parents post about them. They feel like their privacy and their trust have been violated. We really have to listen to that. This shows the terrifying reality of what happens to that information. On the left, you see a parent's proud, totally innocent posts. On the right, you see how a predator sees it. It's a checklist. Name and age confirmed, school location identified, hobbies and routines known. This is not a hypothetical. It's an intelligence dossier for people with the absolute worst intentions, from identity thieves to predators who use these details to get close to children. Make no mistake, there is an evil world online, and this information is absolute gold for them. Okay, I know that was intense, and it's supposed to be, but the whole point of this is not to scare you, it's to arm you. You are not powerless in this. It is time to stop letting algorithms dictate your life. You can make deliberate choices to protect yourself and your family, and we can start right now, together. Here is your 5-minute privacy audit. It's simple, but it is so powerful. First, delete apps you never use. Every single one is a potential data leak. Second, review permissions. Does that game really need your microphone? Does that photo editor need your location 24/7? Deny it. This is so important, especially if you have banking apps on your phone. Third, lock your profile down to friends only. And fourth, hide your friends list. That's a goldmine for scammers. And to really level up your defense, make these your new habits. Use strong, unique passwords for everything. Please, please enable multi-factor authentication on your important accounts. It is your single best defense. Guard your main email address like you guard your life. Think twice before you post about your kids or your vacation plans. And just remember, you are in control. You decide what to share, not the algorithm. This analogy just says it all, doesn't it? We are so careful with our physical wallets, but our digital wallet, which has way more personal and valuable information in it, we just leave it wide open on a table for anyone in the world to look through. It's time we start guarding our data with that same level of care. So I'll leave you with this one last thought. If your digital life is an open book, who have you handed a copy to? Advertisers? Scammers? Data brokers? Complete strangers? The power to decide who gets to turn those pages should be yours, and yours alone. It's time to take back the pen.